I just felt like recording a little video just because I was in the mood to. Essentially about why calisthenics is better than weights. No, it's gonna ruffle some feathers right away, but it's just a chill conversation, so let me know what you guys think in the comments down below before this conversation started, and then maybe afterwards if I change your mind at all. Calisthenics is the art of moving your body through space, right? And when you're moving your body through space, you're giving resistance, and that is what trains each muscle group. So when you squat, you're putting a load on your quads. When you do a push-up, you're putting a load on your chest, etc, etc. Weights is slightly different. When you lift weights, you are moving the weights through space. So let's say you're doing a bench press. Instead of your body moving as a whole, the weights are doing the movement, and you are pushing the weights out. It has the reverse effect. If you're doing a pull-up, well, that's moving your body up, and if you're doing a lat pull down, then that's pulling weights down as you stay stationary. Very similar forms of movement, in fact the same relatively. When you think about it, a push-up is a bench press and a lat pull down is a pull-up. This isn't new information, I'm just sprouting old shit you've probably heard a million times. But one of the main reasons I think calisthenics is better is, well, the stability you get from doing those bodyweight exercises. This stability helps you in numerous ways. Not only as you get older, I think that stability you get definitely helps with sort of just moving and general health and general fitness, but also in the here and now, giving full control of your body. You've probably heard this many times before, but I feel like a calisthenics athlete has more control over their own body, how they can move, how they can perform, sort of acrobatics when you think about it. And for this video, I'm going to be specifically speaking about movement in calisthenics, not so much static calisthenics like your planche or your 90-degree hold. While I think they're really cool and really something to work towards, and why part of calisthenics is exciting, I don't think that is superior to weightlifting. I think that's just an argument, and that's personal preference. But I do think movement calisthenics, like handstand push-ups, is better than things like, what's that called? Overhead press. Like things like the overhead press. I'm going to quickly speak now about 4 forms of movement that both calisthenics and weightlifting do for the upper body, but I think calisthenics is better in all 4 categories. And that is your horizontal push, your horizontal pull, your vertical push, and your vertical pull. These 4 things I always think about when training calisthenics. And even when I used to lift weights, and still do lift weights, I feel like these 4 types of movement are pushed more in calisthenics, shall we say. And why do I say that? Well, I think these 4 forms of movement are trained equally in calisthenics compared to weightlifting, and I'll touch on why. I think people often prioritize maybe the bench press or the squat, sort of whatever they're working towards. I'm gonna say the bench press mostly, that's what I hear mostly, and when I used to lift weights, that's kind of the only thing I gave a fuck about. Especially like, you'd only focus on bench press, like who cares about how much you shoulder press? In fact, I don't even think shoulder press is done that much in weights. I think more people probably focus on lateral raises, which is an isolated exercise. See, in calisthenics, it's all compound movements, or the main exercises are compound movements. You push up, your handstand push up, you pull up, and your rows. These can all be done equally in calisthenics. And I feel like in weights, they sometimes get neglected. People often switch to isolated exercises rather than compound exercises. Now, that's not inherently a bad thing. In fact, in some ways it's a good thing. I think for bodybuilding, isolating exercises is beneficial. That's to grow muscle size in. If you need more, I don't know, side delt, you can train lateral raises more. If you need more front delt, you can train front delt more with front raises, and that's great and that's super useful. But for overall strength, I think compound movements are superior, and I think most people would agree. And calisthenics is just simpler at getting those compound movements trained. And you can still increase this with calisthenics. Often an argument is, oh, well, I can only do so much with push-ups until it gets maxed out. Well, you can do weighted push-ups, you can do weighted pull-ups. In fact, I think weighted pull-ups are such an crucial exercise that it's just neglected by bodybuilders. I think a weighted pull-up is definitely better than a lat pull down, than a heavy lat pull down machine. And I think going into the next argument is time and attention. With calisthenics, I feel like you train a lot more to get to your hypertrophy? That's definitely the right word. Yeah, I feel like in calisthenics, you basically do more reps. People might say that's not a good thing, but I actually think it is. I think you get more time and attention, you get the muscle worked more. Basically, it's under more load for more often. And that is where muscle growth happens. So inherently, if you have more time and attention, then the muscle is going to grow more. Often with weightlifting, you stick between 8 to 12 reps, and this can be inferior, especially if you're just doing 3 or 4 sets. People say it's harder to train to failure in calisthenics, but I disagree. I think most people do push-ups until they can't do any more push-ups. Whereas sometimes they might have a few more reps in the tank on their incline bench press, but they just choose not to, or they think they don't. I don't truly know on that one though, so let me know. So yeah, I think calisthenics is better for a number of reasons. I know, shock horror. I think weights are extremely important still. There are some exercises that you can't do with calisthenics. I do think isolating muscle groups is much more difficult in calisthenics, and if you need to train something like a bicep curl, that's really difficult to do in calisthenics. You'll try and see so many different variations of pull-up or push-up that trains your bicep, but in reality, there is nothing easier than just grabbing a dumbbell. I'm gonna release a full video on why I think weights is better than calisthenics as well, and we can have a proper conversation afterwards. And while it's personal, I do think calisthenics unlocking that superhuman strength level, like the planche and the human flag, I think that is something more exciting to work towards, in my opinion, than seeing numbers go up on a plate of racks. Plate of racks? A rack of plates? Rack of plates, right? On a rack of plates. Don't sound right for some reason. On a rack of plates? I feel like that's wrong. On a bar of plates? I don't know. I think you know what I'm saying. I think it's more exciting. But then that's completely up to debate. I know some people that only go rock climbing because they didn't enjoy calisthenics, because they don't care about those things that you can do, those weird things that you can do with your body, and they don't care about weightlifting because they don't care about numbers on a rack. But they enjoy rock climbing because they can see their strength get better as they can do more difficult climbs. There's probably something for each person. That's the goal with any hobby, isn't it? To get better at it eventually and unlock new skills that you weren't able to do before. I think with weights it's a bit more, maybe less exciting to some people. But yeah, that's just my opinion, and obviously calisthenics people are going to agree and weightlifting people are going to disagree with that. So yeah, this was just a short video out in the fog, talking my opinion about why weights is better than calisthenics. No, why calisthenics is better than weights. I will release a new video about why I think weights is better than calisthenics, even though I don't, but I do think it's important to talk about that and also reflect on that. So there you go, that's just a short video on my opinion why calisthenics is better than weights. There's a few objective truths in there, there's a few subjective truths, just my own personal opinion. And yeah, I think it's enjoyable to talk about these things. So let me know what you guys think down below. Do you lift weights? Do you do calisthenics? Do you do fuck all? Do you enjoy rock climbing? Are you just getting into calisthenics? Let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.